Well, yeah, we've got misfits, and somewhere in the back are the shadows lurking. That's true. So wolves and sheeps and shadows and misfits. There was a dragon or two up above. We have a raspberry. We have just a bevy of folk out here in our community. We have a sentient 12-sided die. Why did your name come up? I don't know. I know I responded to you. You said I really should open for commissions, and I was encouraging that. Work has been insane for the last few months, so I'm always a little on the tired side. No, Custos, dude, I mean, it's your life, and it's certainly your income, and you're doing what you need to do with it. But, ooh, make sure you're taking care of yourself, sir. You work a lot, and I mean, I appreciate you being a part of the community. Just, I want you to be a part of the community for as long as you can. Don't burn out, brother. 12-sided guy is no square. Reveal more. I don't know. I don't know 12-sided. All I remember is I made a comment that encouraged you to, to post something up if you want to take some commissions from people in the community. The specifics have escaped me, though. I had some really good pasta salad, so I'm clearly blaming the olives that were in it. Fortunately, the Italian dressing overpowered the taste of olives, and I could live with that. I don't know what to tell you, 12-sided guy. All right, let's get rolling. Custos, I'll reveal more of your capsules. We have some work to do. Yep, and Nina's always willing to take one from the team. All right, Hark, get us going with Math Rock Spot. I need a D100, please. Pardon me. Rolled a 51. We are a male character. And now I need our character's race. No one had locked that in. And so I promised Nina I would drag you to the front of the class and make you roll dice in front of the other students. Nina, I need you to roll a D50, please. Exclamation point, roll space 1D50. Rolled an 8. Ah, we have a Changeling from Eberron. There is no subrace, as a Changeling is a Changeling is a Changeling. Now I need our alignment. 12-sided guy, will you please type exclamation point roll space 1D100 to let us know the alignment of our character? $84, we have a neutral evil character. And this neutral evil character is going to be generated at level 20 and as a bard of the College of Creation. Changelings are medium-sized, and we are a male changeling, though, I mean, that can change, so it is what it is. Oh, Chris is going into lurk mode. Chris, before you lurk then. Let's see. The ability score roll is taken Background is taken. I'll tell you what, Chris, roll 2d8 for the personality traits before you leave, please. I believe you mean pragmatic. Yeah, you get the job done, right? So I was typing something important out that I just found that could change your bit credits. Oh, okay. I don't know if I... Okay, yeah, send me a message and I'll get to it, Hark. All right, Chris, before you go into lurk mode, our character has personality traits number 3 and number 1 of whatever background we roll up. All right, lurk away. You're free. I release you. All right, we have our alignment. We have our character level. Now, Hark, give us that percentile to find out if we're taking ability score improvements or feats. A 19, all stat bumps, all us. All right, now for character background. Ooh, we're turning on all the options. Look at that list populate, huh? Boop, doop, doop, and boop. I am going to need Raz to roll a 78-sided die to help us determine our background. Aw, 12-sided, thank you. Rolled a 67. We are a Shade Fanatic. A Shade Fanatic. All right, looks like there's no additional rolls that need to be made for this. Possibly Custos. We'll have to rely on our friends. Now what we're going to need is... I'll tell you what, Demon, can you give us the ideal bond and flaw, the 3d6 roll, please? Four, 5, 1. All right. Misfit, can I get a D100 roll from you for the age of our character? Well, the age range, I should say. Rolled a 3. We have a child prodigy. A child prodigy for a changeling. All right, now I need another volunteer. Shadow. Shadow, will you please type exclamation point roll space 1d6 plus 5. It's a child prodigy. It's a gifted child. All right, we have an 8-year-old changeling that holds the powers of creation in his hand. Why are children... the children we've been generating for our Unearthed Arcana have been evil? But then again, do they know better? Can they help it? Truly nothing... No person is more cruel than a child because they know not what they do. Pardon me. Soda makes you burp, everyone. Heads up. They don't put a warning label on these cans. All right. Now, we have a height and a weight modifier, though if we're this young, honestly, we could either just stick to the base height or even subtract with a D4 in each. Everyone's experiences may vary. See the parent for details. Let's see. Who do we have that's up and hasn't rolled and would like to? Huh. Oh, I see we also have two foxes in chat. Misra D. Fox and Snips the Glorious Fox. Hey, there's Syart. Syart, do me a favor and roll a D4 with Math Rock Spot. Exclamation point roll space 1D4. We're actually going to remove inches of height off our character with this roll because of how young he is. And I need one other volunteer. Because if no one steps up, I'm going to make Nina roll again. No pressure except literally all the pressure in the world. If you mess it up, Nina, then, well... I mean, yeah, Raz, it's... I guess we're looking for an average. Yes, exclamation point roll, space 1D4. Rolls a 2. Alright, so he is 4'11". And Nina, it's now your time to shine. Math Rock's bot has chosen you to be sacrificed to Statisticus, the god of dice. I need you to roll a D4. There we go, a 2. Well, I mean, Changeling physiology is what it is. I mean, I guess we could have always just taken 2d4 in height and then the 2d4 weight modifier as well. Well, Changeling's gonna change. Yeah, I mean, Nina, you had one job. You broke Math Rock Spot. Thank you, Nina. All right, so we have a height. We have a weight. Are they our final ones? Heck no, not as a changeling. And now we need to explore. We have our placeholders, right? We have the things that we need to make future decisions about the character. And to begin the in-depth exploration, we're going to start with his background. And his background is one out of Adventurers League. And let me get this real quick like. This is in Where are you? This is Adventurers League Rage of Demons, if I recall. And I should have that. Where did you go? Sorry about this, everyone. Is it this one? Harbor Folk? No, that's the Flan refugee. Mulemaster Aristocrat, Harbor Folk, the Earth Spur Miner, Caravan Specialist. Not that one. Here we go. Rage of Demons.
Many fall in the face of chaos, but not this one. Not today.
Ooze Undertaking, thank you very much for the host. Okay, we are a Shade fanatic. You grew up at a time when the Wizards of Netherrealm... Now, of course, we're going to make a more setting-agnostic character. This is the concept behind this in Forgotten Realms play. You grew up at a time when the Wizards of Netherrealm were at war with the Elves of Cormanthor. You recall sitting cross-legged hearing the stories of the glorious Thultanthar, who called the Shade Enclave in the City of Shade, or also called the Shade Enclave in the City of Shade, and aspired to study there, and maybe even did for a time. Your dreams came crashing down a few years ago when Thultanthar fell from the sky upon Myth Draenor. You know that there was a Netherese garrison stationed near Hillsfar, and have heard rumors that its downfall came from traitors within the ranks. You remain loyal to Netheril and seek out other Shade loyalists and fanatics in the Cormanthor Forest and the areas surrounding Hillsfar. Alright, so we are kind of a sleeper agent. Jeez, everyone, it writes itself with what we have going on here. So we have kind of like a sleeper cell. We have a child who's been raised, even indoctrinated perhaps, to appreciate, kind of an equivalent of the bad guys, the not us. Ooh, scary. And we harbor those feelings because we want our team to win, even though they were dealt a blow by the people that we're currently living amongst. The fact this is a changeling that has it is making this all the more, kind of like Black Widow, yeah. It's making this all the more interesting. Deception and intimidation are going to be our skill proficiencies. And we have a tool proficiency with a forgery kit. We can speak Netherese. And we get some equipment, which includes a forgery kit, a transparent cylinder of shadow that has no opening. That's oddly specific. And I don't... What is that referencing that I'm not getting? A transparent cylinder of shadow that has no opening. Oh, I guess it's just because it's a transparent cylinder, but it's containing shadow despite light being able to shine right through it. Because the Netherese are all about... they're very fantasy villainous as a country and a people. A cylinder of shadow, I will write an abbreviation. a signet ring of some kind. I wonder if we're sort of like, if this is kind of like an Anastasia sort of story, except it's with a little princeling. A set of fine clothes, and also 15 gold pieces. But apparently, we don't get a belt pouch for it. Our background feature is Secret Society. You have a special way of communicating with others who feel the same way you do about the Shade. When you enter a village or larger city, you can identify contact who will give you an... Wait. When you enter a village or larger city, you can identify... I guess that would be contacts, or it should be. Contact who will give you information on those that would hinder your goals, and those would help you... I guess that should be who would. No, there's some errors here. And those who would help you simply because of your desire to see the Shade Enclave return to all its glory. And yes, this is a variant shadow of the criminal feature. Maybe dark matter. I'm sure we could... we have a cylinder full of shadow with light shining through it. This is something fun. I'm sure we can work with it. Now, our personality is as follows. Number 3. I am important. I will not let anyone forget that. So, 8 years old, very filled with self-importance, and wants to see this, this enclave or this, whatever happened in the past rise again. I kind of like the idea that we have sort of like an Anastasia, with a princeling who might have been ejected from his home amid the tumult of a revolution, and is kind of bitter about that, wants to see the monarchy rise back up, and is working through a secret society of sympathizers in order to have that happen. Yeah, I'm important. My mom told me, and my mom also said that I'm cool. And number 1, I am a bully. I try to hide it, though. I'm a bully. I try to hide it, though. If people don't explicitly say no bully, or please no bully, no guarantee they ain't getting a bullying. Our ideal is number 4. We are frugal. Move this a little bit like this and a little bit like that. We are frugal. I hoard my possessions knowing that someday I will be called upon to give everything I have to the cause. So we do have riches, but it's all squirreled away in, behind loose bricks and under thises and that's, because when it's time for that final push, we're going to reveal the stash of wealth that we've been accumulating. And our bond is number 5. My true love was a killed... Wizards, who you have writing this official stuff? This is for Adventurers League. My true love was a killed. Was killed by the red plumes. I plot to make them suffer. Now. Interpretation time. Did we have young love? Is this an Anakin Padme situation? Do we take the concept of someone we held dearly, and is this a love because maybe we escaped with our brother or sister from the palace as it was falling? And so it's more of it's a familial, right? Our brother was struck down while we were fleeing the people who were overthrowing our palace. And so we're really upset about that. and we're gonna make them pay. Was this? Yeah, it could be a mentor. Yeah, it could be a mentor or a teacher. 12-sided guy. You know, so it could be a romantic interest. It could be a family member. It could be someone important that was, you know, their nurse or a mentor, or even just, I don't know, a servant, a lowly servant who, you know, who sacrificed everything to get us out of the palace, even leaving his own friends and family behind to get us out. And then no sooner did he sacrifice everything for me, but the people overthrowing the palace then killed him. But his death is, pardon me, his death is what brought us freedom. And that taught us a very important lesson. Can you imagine that 12-sided guy? Mom, he's copying me. Well, you can consider this as well. How about, what if changelings are just people, but they were secretly developed to be stand-ins? They were secretly developed to be stand-ins for the actual royalty. What if this kid was developed in some sort of magical test tube along with others and was being raised? You know, this is the second time I've had to invoke this. Do any of you know what a Potemkin village is? A Potemkin village? You know, so here's this kid being raised with every thought that he is royalty, because ultimately he would have to carry himself out. He'd have to carry himself as a body double, because there could, maybe that's why they were made, is because rebellion was fomenting amongst the populace. And so you have a kid who was brought up as a royal, absolutely isn't, but is so convinced, because he doesn't know anything else, that he is going to go and get revenge on behalf of the family that was just going to use him and throw his life away on a stray poison dart or a dagger in the back while making a kind of a random public appearance. We have all the makings of a compelling, wonderful character. I mean, a villain is, if you want to say this is a villainous character, that'd be fine too. But do you all see yourselves? Can you pilot a character like this? Is this a character that is cool? Can you sit down with your dungeon master, and even if it's in the course of a session 0 and your DM says, yeah, you know, we'll work, I'll work this in, but look, it's probably going to take, you know, until summer before it really comes up. Does a notion like this excite you as a role player? Heck, as a writer, did we just uncover a really cool concept for you to write about in whatever story that you're planning? Whether it's for tabletop or, I don't know, you just want to make some notes for the next NaNoWriMo. Does this sound, you know, could a character like this exist? Is it a stretch? Or does this actually seem to very eerily all fit into place, despite it being random numbers? And what is our flaw? Our flaw is 1. I always over-exaggerate my abilities. We are braggadocious. Yes, Shadow. I think that's what we could infer. In the meta, for any of you that are new here, in the meta of what we do, this is an exercise in us role-playing as dungeon masters a friend of ours who wants to play a character and presumably took time to build the character is bringing the character sheet to us. And now it's an exercise in us reviewing the character sheet and extrapolating data from it to make a compelling story that will draw the character in and have the player create the world for us. Yeah, hey. That could absolutely be a possibility, J.A.R. There could be some magic in the blood. And this is the part where I think I'm contractually obligated to tell you we might as well stop here. We have a character. I don't care there's no ability scores. I don't care that we don't know the character's initiative modifier. We have a character at this moment. We can imagine him. We've contemplated his history and how he makes decisions right now and what his ambition is for the future. We've explored his history, his decision-making process. Our character has character. From here, yeah, I mean, we fine-tune things. How does the character act in the world? And that's, the medium of dice rolling and the interpretation of skills and whatnot. We can stop right here with the details that we have, and you have a character fit for a campaign. Though, I suppose, let's keep going. We know his background. Ooh, pardon me. And now it is time to discover who he is by way of being a changeling. And changelings are going to be found on... Oh, there we go. Page 17. I really like the picture they used here. And by the way, lore that is appropriate for the Eberron setting, and you could also interpret in a way to make it what it is in your own world. I'm not worried about the specific lore. We're not making an Eberron character, though I do want to bring up that it is here. We are going to increase our charisma by 2. Man, we're getting charisma class, charisma races building a charisma class. And one ability score goes up by 1. Let's see. I'm important. I'm a bully. We're frugal. I plot and make them suffer. And I over-exaggerate my abilities. I wonder if we aren't going to be more of a melee bard. Let's drop it here. See what happens. Our movement speed is 30 feet, 15, 15, 0 for the other speeds. Okay, we get the ability of Shape Changer. As an action, you can change your appearance and your voice. You determine the specifics of the changes, including your coloration, hair length, and sex. You can also adjust your height and weight, but not so much that your size changes. You can make yourself appear as a member of another race, though none of your game statistics change. You can't duplicate the appearance of a creature you've never seen, and you must adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs that you have. Your clothing and equipment aren't changed by this trait. You stay in the new form until you use an action to revert to your true form or until you die. Changeling Instincts. You gain proficiency with 2 of the following skills: Deception, Insight, Intimidation, and Persuasion. Well, we got Deception and Intimidation from our background, so that is leaving Insight and Persuasion. Common and 2 other languages of your choice. Done. Changing Bard, we have a 1-person Shakespeare troupe. Alright, so congratulations. We're in a secret society that actually probably even rejects us at this point, or would simply use us. Perfect coming of age story. Perfect. Oh my goodness. A character like this is prime material for a dungeon master to run for. All right, and now we are building a bard. We go to our local Build-A-Bard. We choose the cool hat. We add an instrument, and ultimately, you know, we take the form over, and it just gets filled with stuffing. We are having some D8 hit die, 20 of them since we're 20th level. We are proficiency bonus of +6, and we know 4 cantrips by level 20. And so this is all going to go here. We're getting some spell slots of 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. And what are you saying, any 3, Shadow? If I missed something. We are going to get Bardic Inspiration, and those are going to be a D12 by this level. Oh, yes, we will get 3 other skills. You are correct. You are correct. We are also going to get proficiency with light armor. For weapons, I mean, it's really just it's a specific bard list. Advantages. No advantages, though our saving throws are going to be dexterity and charisma. And then we do choose 3 other skills. 3 other skills. I'm a bully. I try to hide it, though. I'm important. I will not let anyone forget that. My true love was killed by the red plumes. I plot to make them suffer. Maybe history. History might be a good one. I always over-exaggerate my abilities. We do have a physical character, though. And so, if not history, maybe athletics? Let's see. We sneak, we plot. This is secret society stuff. So, stealth might be important. I wonder if, like, sleight of hand? No. I hoard my possessions, knowing that someday I'll be called upon to give everything I have to the cause. Athletics, I think, to, like, swim and climb. We do have deception already. I'm kind of picking up, you know, especially because we're a physical bully as well, and we're only 8. So I don't think we're very intelligent. In fact, intelligence might end up being our dump stat. Athletics. If he's been out on his own, maybe survival even. Maybe survival. Right? He was starting to be brought up as a noble. The overthrow happened. He still thinks he's a prince, even though he's just a placeholder. Athletics, stealth, and survival, I think. Perception? Why perception? Let's get some... Want something with a little bit of energy here as we're continuing on. He's probably had to scrounge on his own, and especially if he's trying to save up money, I think survival is gonna give him that kind of a lifestyle. So this is 7 skills, 2 from background, 2 from race, 3 from class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what he would be performing. And I say that given what we've discussed, where he's been brought up as a noble despite him not being noble. And so he's not having to perform being a noble because he thinks that, like, that's all he remembers and all he knows. Now, so to me as a DM, I wouldn't count that as performance. That's how you were raised. Though he would have to deceive and say that he's someone else, especially because the royals were overthrown. All right. I'm going to come over to our first bard because this is going to be the same. A bard is a bard. Pardon. We are a jack of all trades, meaning we get half of our proficiency bonus to skills in which we are not proficient. Our Song of Rest is a D12. We get 4 expertise. We're a font of inspiration. We can counter charm, and we have superior inspiration as well. Now, the question then becomes, where is his expertise? I think because he is on the run as he is, deception's going to be a big one. Deception is going to be a big one for him. Because he knows that he has this ability to turn into other people, and he has to do so because he realizes if he goes back to his prince form, people are going to recognize him or just capture him there. Let's see. We get 4 of these. Custo says, as a changeling, though, performance could be his believability in being someone else he changes into along the way. I see what you're saying, Custos. And this is an excellent example of why, if you are handing this sheet to me, why you and I would need to sit down and actually discuss that, because performance and deception are 2 halves of the same coin in that regard. I can entertain either. And so it would be a case of where you as the player might come to me and say, look, I want to run this character. I want to run this character. How would you generally rule my shape changing, let alone using my forgery kit or something along those lines? Performance is what you do. Deception is when it's contested. That could be a way to look at it. Yeah. It could be a DM call. A lot of different ways to go about it. So if we take this then, and so, raised for maximum charisma. I mean, he's obviously a darling child. There's just a bad streak because of the circumstances. Which skill, stealth or athletics, would you like to move down into performance? Or survival, though I think he's really been living off of survival. I don't know if that would be an expertise thing, though. Well, I'll make an executive decision here. Let's move athletics into performance. Give expertise in performance, deception, insight, so we can read people, especially if we have to become them. And if we also need to follow people around, then probably stealth. Or, I don't know, I guess I could see survival as a expertise. But if we leave it at that, to continue, again, you could download this yourself, switch stuff out that you'd like. For the sake of continuing on, I'm continuing here, but I'm always open to ideas from chat. Those are our expertise. And now we come to our archetype, which was the College of Creation. Once more, bards believe the multiverse was given existence through word and sound, esoteric harmonies that continue to resound through existence. The Song of Creation. The bards of this college draw on this ancient power through performances of dance, music, or song to bring into being what they need most. Members of this college might have developed their powers during experiences on other worlds or planes of existence. Those who have seen the commonalities of multiple realities might have learned how to tap into truths most mortals glimpse only for a moment. Alternatively, the bard might find themselves out of step with their own home plane, reality, or time, their connections to elsewhere allowing them to manipulate the space around them. Regardless of where a bard draws their power from, other performers might be drawn to them, either to learn their secrets or to put an end to their dangerous manipulation of the Song of Creation. And I am going to copy these three. I'm going to read them over, but this way it's going to save me a step in typing it out. The Note of Potential. You can manipulate the Song of Creation to summon a floating musical note of possibility. When you use your Bardic Inspiration feature... Oh, I'm sorry, that's the animated item. Whenever you give a creature a Bardic Inspiration die, you can create a Note of Potential. The note orbits within 5 feet of the creature, kind of like an Ioun Stone. The note is a tiny object that is intangible and invulnerable, and it lasts until the Bardic Inspiration die is lost. A creature with a note can use it in the following ways. Note of Destruction. Immediately after the creature rolls the Bardic Inspiration die to add it to an attack roll, the creature can expend the note to create a burst of sound. Each other creature within 5 feet of it must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC, or take thunder damage equal to the number rolled on the Bardic Inspiration die. Note of Protection. Immediately after the creature rolls Bardic Inspiration die and adds it to a saving throw, the creature can expend the note again, or can expend a note to gain temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma modifier, provided the creature doesn't already have temporary hit points. And then we have the Note of Integrity. When the creature rolls the Bardic Inspiration die to add it to an ability check, the creature can expend the note to roll the Bardic Inspiration die again and choose which roll to use. We then get Animating Performance. Your mastery over the Song of Creation allows you to magically bring items to life. As an action, you can target a large or smaller non-magical item you can see within 30 feet of you and animate it. The Animate item, it should be animated, I guess, uses the dancing item stat block and is under your control for 1 hour or until it's reduced to 0 hit points. In combat, the item shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reactions on its own, but the only action it can take on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take one of the actions it has on its stat block, or the dash, disengage, help, hide, or search action. When you use your Bardic Inspiration feature, you can command which action your animated item takes as a part of the same bonus action. Once you animate an item with this feature, you can't do so again, or again if you prefer, until you finish a long rest or until you expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to use this feature. You can have only one item animated by this feature at a time. If you use this action and already have a dancing item from this feature, the first one immediately becomes inanimate. Again, I had some qualms with the stat block being the same for a large iron statue or a small silverware fork. Is it a game breaker? No. I mean, I can explain. Sure, the large one has an AC of 16 because it's tough, but it's also big. And the small one has a high AC because it's just hard to hit. Maybe that's what they were going for, but with the animate object spell and some other things, to imagine that a bard is gonna make this the same thing as, I don't know, go to a local park that you have and there's a statue made of bronze or iron or whatever, and those are the same. Also remember, because this is a conjuration focused bard, the more you conjure, the more there is to track and either forget, or it could bog down combat. If you're going to play a conjurer of some kind, make sure you know your stuff. Practice it. Be comfortable with your skills so you can keep things moving quickly at the tabletop. Then we have Performance of Creation. Your performance can manipulate the magic of creation, briefly transforming the world around you. As an action, you can create one non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on a surface or in a liquid that can support it. The gold piece value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level and must be large or smaller. Tiny, glimmering, intangible notes float around it, and a creature can faintly hear music when touching it. For examples of items you can create, see the Armor, Weapons, Adventuring Gear, Tools, and Mounts and Vehicles tables in Chapter 5 Equipment. The created item disappears at the end of your next turn unless you use your action to maintain it. Each time you use your action in this way, the item's duration is extended to the end of your next turn, up to a maximum of 1 minute. If you maintain the item for the full minute, it continues to exist for a number of hours equal to your bard level. So after a while, you do this as something like, I don't know, you wake up in the morning and you do this so you have a friend for the day. Once you create an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, or until you expend a spell slot of 5th level or higher to use this feature. You can have only one item created by this feature at a time. If you use this action and already have an item from this feature, the first one immediately vanishes. That could be a weapon, a shield. There's all the examples in Chapter 5. All these different kinds of things. So a carriage would fit. We have a 400 gold piece maximum with our 20th level bard here. We can conjure armor and weapons. It even says mounts. Who needs Phantom Steed when we can just snap our fingers and summon up a horse, a mule? You know, if we already have one, then yeah, we could just our carriage, we ride in it, and it's fine. And then when we don't need it, we just bloop, fold it back up into another world. You know, no mess, no fuss. Yeah, there you go. You know, do we need armor in a pinch? Do we need a weapon? Do we need a mount? Every day. Heck, even several times a day. It's very cool. And for someone who's had to survive on his own, thinking, trying to think outside the box and plot and plan in the shadows to come back, very handy and very useful. Cool. We understand our bard. We understand our changeling. We understand our shade fanatic. It's now time to drop the scores, the ability scores, into the character. And that's the engine that will run through the chassis in order to get our character from A to B. I have no problems putting the 15 in charisma here. And you're like, well, why? It's a bard. You should always... You can have a bard with a 10 charisma, and it'll still be functional. This bard, for his background reasons, let alone that he's a bard, would have a high charisma. Low intelligence. I think int is our dump stat here. He's a bully. He can take some hits. And then average wisdom. Because he's 8. He hasn't gotten a complete education. Certainly a little bit more education on the streets than out of a book. Hi, Golden. Good morning to you. This would put our strength at a 14. This would put our charisma at a 17. And because we rolled that we're taking all ability score improvements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I think we have a candidate to bring charisma to a 20. That takes care of 3. From here, again, I think we have a caster in that sense. We have a physical character though. You know, someone who can bully others. Someone who is willing to, you know, climb up walls and do other physical things to get our revenge. And so if we come down here and let's say we put 4 more points into dexterity. We have some strength. It's above average strength here. We could increase our constitution as well, because look, we've been scrapping, we've been surviving. We have some good muscles, so we could drop it in con. Or, you know, this is fine, especially because we have a higher armor class. So we're not as reliant on hit points as what Snow would be. If we did this, yeah. So he paid attention to a bunch of things. It's just that he's not especially good at any of them. I agree, Shadow. In either case, the odd number, you know, whether we put 2 in con and then the other one's going to go in strength, or all 3 is going to go in strength. And I'm kind of a fan of putting it into strength. That way we can do muscular things. We do have a more of a physique. You know, the muscles are there rippling and constricting under our newly formed bodies, ready to strike out, ready to climb and run and swim and do everything we need to do to survive. And if you're ever faced with having an odd number like that, the kind of a one dangling one, put it in your strength score if you can, because you're still getting a mechanical benefit from an increased strength score with your jumping and your carrying capacity. Now, if one of you said, yeah, put 2 in con instead, I get it. I know that this is making him more offensive. It's focusing on the I would do anything. It's focusing on the I'm a bully more than just a con is, you know. So yeah, you can take a little bit more of a hit, but why do you have to take hits when you're dishing them out? Strength is 3, Dex is 4, Con is 1, Int is -1, Wisdom is 0, Charisma is 5. Strength saving throw is 3, Athletics is going to be 6. We're not proficient, which means we get half proficiency because of Jack of all trades. Dexterity save is 10. Then acrobatics is going to be 7. Sleight of hand is 7. Stealth is going to be 12 plus 4 is 16. Constitution saving throw is 1 because Jack of all trades is on checks, not on saves. Int, the saving throws a -1. Everything else is going to be a 2 because it's -1 plus 3. Wisdom saving throw is 0, but animal handling is 3. Medicine 3, perception 3. Survival is a 6, and insight is a 12. We got to be able to read people. Now, charisma, we've just doubled down on everything here. Charisma saving throw is an 11. Intimidation's 11. Persuasion is 11. Performance is 17. Whoops. And deception is 17. This kid is getting what he wants in the immediacy, and therefore, perhaps in the long term, is going to get to go back to that palace. This is going to give us a passive perception of 13, as that's 10 plus our perception modifier. We have no dark vision as a changeling. Initiative is going to be a 7. Since we have a dexterity modifier of 4 and we're not proficient in a dex check meaning that we get half of our proficiency added. Hit points at level 1, you get all 8. For the remaining 19 of our 20, you get half plus 1 unless your DM says otherwise of your hit die. Then for all 20 levels, you get bonus hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. And here's our quick and easy math. We get our bonus of 20, and we get our core of 95. So this is going to be 115, 123 hit points. And look, Snow is sitting on 203. But Snow's armor is significantly less, as is her ability to make physical saves. Well, at least dex and strength. Our character, if he's wearing even normal leather armor, is going to have an AC of 15. Whereas our other character would have an AC of 11. And he has he has some spare hit points, enough to, could buy him an extra hit if needed. Still, I don't know what his ultimate armor class is. We have a level 20 character. Who knows? We're not here to equip things particular. It will be what you want to give this character as its pilot or as its DM. If we're attacking with a strength weapon, we're attacking at +9. If we're attacking with a dex weapon, we're attacking at a +10. Of course, the weapon damage changes, and it's up to you to fill that one in. If we're attacking with our spells, that's +11. You add 8 to that to discover the difficulty class. Bardic Inspiration is based on the number of charisma, or your charisma modifier, which is 5, and so there we go. All right. We come down here. We're in the home stretch, everyone. Charisma. To save was a 19. Subtract 8 to get the 2 hit, which is +11. Here we have our B Insp. D12. We have 5 of them. And then we have 4 cantrips as we are transplanting our info. Like, there's some quick reference at the front, and then we can develop it more on the back sheet. 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. And then when it's time, you add your spells, right? At level 1, we know 4 spells. Take a look there. 1, 2, 3, 4. At level 2, you see we know a 5th spell. At 3, a 6th, but we can cast it into a 2nd level slot. Do we have to take a 2nd level spell? No, we can take a 1st level spell and upcast it. It's up to you. What I'm doing here, I'm just simply putting the spells where they can go as you get them. And also, I mean, you could if you're not using a spell, I don't know, you've had a spell for 3 levels and you've never used it. Next time you level up, replace it with something else. You still get your new spell, presuming you get a new spell, and that can go anywhere you want initially, and then you could change one that you've carried with you. So this is level 2. This is going to give us 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, 15, and 17. And you might be thinking it, and we're going to get to it. What about magical secrets? And I will show you, because magical secrets are kind of their own thing, except they aren't, but they are, but they aren't, but they are. We are going to get 6 magical secrets at level 10, at level 14, and level 18. These you can put anywhere. I mean, you want to load them up. All your magical secrets are high level. Go ahead. You want them to be all low level? That's up to you and where you want to put them, and they can be from any other class. It's the ultimate freedom in magic. So I'm going to simply just make a note down here at the bottom of 3 that we get magical secrets. We get 2 of them, and we can put these really anywhere we want. 2 at 10, 2 at 14, and 2 at 18. And so if you download this character sheet, I mean, that's what this means. Plop them wherever you want. They don't have to be level 3 spells, please. And so, congratulations. We have someone... So we have someone who's kind of this royal homunculus, was grown in a vat to act as a bodyguard. Things happened. Our you know, Anastasia Princeling escaped, lost people along the way, and with the fury of a small child vows revenge as he's scrimping and surviving for the day of glorious return. And until that happens, obviously he has some emotional issues. He hasn't been raised up properly. He knows he's a prince even though he's not in real life. You know, we have a tragic character in a sense, but a fun character to play. A fun character to play. And this character has earned himself a name. And so if something, I don't know if there's inspiration that has hit you, if a name has already come to mind, but you're welcome to share it in chat. I'd love to see what your name suggestions are. But consider this. So our first bard got her creation from being touched by a god of creation, you know, a forge domain or even like life domain, in a sense. There's a religious connotation. In this case, we can mess with the stuff of reality because that's what we were made from. We were grown, we were created. We weren't really born. You know, people like us don't exist. Not that we have that as a concept per se. People like us don't exist because we were created and thereby share this bond with creation, which is arguably still a religious manifestation, though it's not seen as such, or it's not treated as such. I don't know. I think it's cool that we have the same bard class, the same bard subclass, and we have 2 very different bards in the spells they take, in even how they came across their college, and they inherited their powers and were able to use it, in the things that they summon. These are 2 very different bards. A neutral name? Yeah, I mean, in Eberron here. On, bin, cast, docs, fi, or fee. Hars, Jin, Lamb, things like this. You know, very simple names. Sarah, you want to name him J.A.R? I don't mind. What about J.A.R? Max fits a bully. So what, he's probably like known as J.A.R? Or if you can think of maybe his noble name, something like that as well. All right, well, we'll get the details in that regard. But our character is going to get a name. But our character is complete, and it was a lot of fun to explore this subclass. And you know what tomorrow night is going to be? And if you don't, here you go. The Unity domain, which was originally called the Love domain, and we might have a little discussion about that. We'll see. Oh, it was created in a jar. Ah, I see what you're saying. So everyone just called him J.A.R. because that was like the project name or something. All right, I'm gonna get up and I just need to do a quick stretch. Custos, Lupus, are you awake? All right. When I come back, Custos, we can do a tour. Oh, I like it. Project J.A.R, just another replacement. Oh, that's a good one. So, of course, all the scientists were calling him just another replacement. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that's actually like the shorthand for the royal line. But all the scientists named him as such, so it was kind of a joke and not confusing at the same time for baffling that. Oh, I like that, Shadow. Good, good, good. So yeah, Custos, what we'll do is I'm going to get up and take a quick little walk around. And when I come back, I'll show you the contents of what's in the bubbles. Though I don't want to be up forever. I'm not going to show everything for like half a second and be like, if you didn't see it, you don't get to see. I'm just not going to spend, you know, like a minute per capsule hyping everything up, if that makes sense. As long as you don't give him the last name of Binks. No, Custos. Custos, we need you here for the wit and humor you bring. All right, 5 minutes, and we'll come back, and we'll go through Custos's polls, and then we'll find someone to raid.